if you can explain what is the crack?
Hey,
The crack. How can I have the crack? What's the crack?
What is the crack? You are the crack.
Before we get into the rest of the interview with Fights, I just want to talk to you about our presenting sponsor, Dub, dubapp.com-Billy. We love the Dub app. The Dub app is our presenting sponsor. If you are an Audiocraic listener, then you are a Dub app fan as well. And you are going to go to dubapp.com-Billy and create an account right now because Dub is a marketplace for investing. They built a marketplace where you can copy the investments of great traders or be the traders who get copied. It's democratizing the access to hedge funds. It's bringing the concept of picking people instead of stocks to invest to the masses. All these super rich individuals, they all have wealth managers who make sure that they get the best returns on their investments. Now, you don't need the millions of dollars to do it. You can do it with just your savings, just your average person savings, put it in there. They will get you some amazing returns. The portfolios are based on politicians, insiders, and hedge funds. Users have built portfolios that track their public trade filings. One of the top performers is the Pelosi portfolio. It is up over 70% this year. The portfolios are built by up-and-coming traders. Users have also built portfolios trading tons of unique strategies. Some of them are even beating Pelosi and now have thousands of copiers. Best part is no one can fake their performance. And that is because the app is the first regulated copy trading platform. The company is regulated. Dub Capital is an SEC registered investment advisor. That's not the Southeastern Conference. That is the Securities and Exchange Commission. And Dub Financial is a broker dealer member of FINRA, just like Fidelity or Schwab. Also, they're SIPC insured up to 500K. Trades happen automatically. Once I press copy, everything happens automatically. When the portfolio trades, you trade. It's so easy. You can set it and forget it. Sign up for a 1-week trial of Dub. Cancel it anytime. Invite friends and get $20 each. If you got a group chat, throw it in there. You know, group chat of 10 guys, that might be $200. So do it today. Barstool Sports is a paid promoter for Dub and receives compensation for the promotion of its services. This is not investment advice. Past performance does not guarantee future results. And now for the rest of the interview with Fights. Welcome back to Audiocraic. We have a great reoccurring guest, John Feitelberg. Thank you so much for coming on, John.
thank you for having me, Bill. I'm happy to get the reoccurring tag.
Dude, you were one of our best performing episodes.
Wow.
People have been asking. So like, you know, we've hit the list and you were number one on it.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's nice to hear.
Dude, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we just did our 50th episode of Audiocraic.
Oh shit.
It's getting deep.
You doing 2 week?
2 week.
2 week, right.
So 25 weeks. It's kind of wild.
That's a long time.
I know.
It feels like it hasn't been that. I feel like I was like just yesterday I was on crack for, that was probably what, episode 3, 4, something like that?
5. And then you went to the Tom Brady roast right after.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right.
It was right after. And I was like, holy shit, you could have like dropped a tidbit. No, it's fine. But that must have been wild.
That was very fun. That was very cool. That was I think I've cleared this up before.
Yeah,
so I know Dave was upset that I got invited. I did not get invited. I pled to get to go. And my prayers were answered.
I mean, hey, get it how you can.
Yeah.
How you can. We have some crazy Barstool office drama happening in New York. And
is that why I'm on?
No.
So I guess no, you explain why. Because I was like, I don't know what Bill wants me on for, but
no, I just like chatting with you.
Okay. I like chatting with you too, Bill.
Yeah. I mean, I think like we're both two gym bros. Ever since I saw you rep 42 of 135 at the combine, I was just like, this is someone I respect.
You started to respect me as a man?
No, like mass respect mass. No.
It is a crazy thing that it like not specifically exercising, but like how there is just like one little thing that can happen where you'd be like, all right, I actually respect that guy now.
I respected you before, but that was like, oh, he's really into it. that ain't popcorn muscles.
I was always a workout guy.
Yeah.
Like I had different phases of my life where I did other things more often, but I've always like worked out. I think if my 5th grade birthday, Christmas, my dad got me a bench set.
Yeah.
And from there, I like when I was a kid, he would quote unquote grew up in a gym in the sense that like my dad didn't have, like he would pick me up from practice and then he'd go to the gym. So I would just sit in the gym while he worked out. So I've always been like a gym adjacent person.
That's huge for the program early on. Yeah. So we have this crazy stuff. The only reason I want to talk about it because, you know, people want to know a little insight on this. We have Ohio's Tate, who's in the New York Barstool office. He's been causing a ruckus this whole week. He's now instituted an air horn for every blog he writes, or if someone writes. So I thought the horn was like a bicycle horn that he was doing, just like to annoy people, like the bell.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a fucking air horn. So I started all this shit by literally being like, yo, Tate, let me hit the horn. And he was like, where the fuck did my horn go? And that's what all this shit show is now taking place for. And then now I realize like, oh fuck, I would have never even wanted to hit an air horn in the office. That's like a desk pop.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Tate, I've met him out in LA. He was super chill. I mean, I guess he thinks that like, I mean, you're not going to be a dickhead to someone who's just like the only person on a work trip with you. I think that'd be very like not smart, but I don't see how he's not making any good impressions here. Everyone's just pissed. And you probably haven't seen much of it because you were doing an Out of Order episode yesterday.
Yeah.
And now you've been recording all day. You've been packing it in. You've been just killing the content, man. Like you've just been recording stuff for like since 9?
Doing like 10.
Okay.
10.
Yeah.
But
so it's 3 now.
It's just talking. It's not that hard.
I know, but did you get lunch?
I had some oatmeal.
Okay.
Oatmeal and a banana.
Yeah.
Big oatmeal kick. Been hammering oatmeal. But
fiber, great for your cholesterol.
Is it?
Yeah. My cholesterol's fucked because I just don't eat fiber.
What do you eat?
I just eat
you use like a keto or like big.
Yeah. I just like do vegetables and then steak and then like rice or pasta.
That's all you eat?
Like for dinners.
Dude, see, do you snack at all?
No.
Yeah, I eat healthy. I snack like a motherfucker.
Snacking's fucked.
It's crazy.
Like
we don't have to get into my diet. Sorry, what was what did we end on before that?
Tate stuff.
So we came up today on KFC Radio. Just Kevin was talking about future of the Mets and they might end up with the Yankees in the gambling cave, which he was like, I really don't want that. And he's like, but it also might end up with Tate in the cave. Obviously, this is all given the Mets win. So we kind of talked about it a little bit from there. It's a choice he's making. It's a conscious choice. Like he knows what he's doing and he wants to be an asshole, and that's the path he chooses. He's the path, but career choice he's choosing. It's not one that I find particularly entertaining or interesting, but a lot of people do, and that's good for him, I guess.
I mean, it's gonna be one of those things. Like, will it really be worth it down the line?
Yeah, but so yes, right now it is obviously very annoying. Whatever you want to be annoying. That's your thing. But a lot of people do it. Like you're trying to make a name for yourself, and you come into Barstool and you attack what you think is the low hanging fruit, or like the person that the commenters don't like, or stuff like that. I've done it. I'm guilty. Like when I was doing links of the day back in the day, like I would throw a shot at Manzo. Like most people, I don't know who the fuck that is, but like Manzo was a New York blogger, and I'd throw a shot at him, and like I'd hope a commenter was like, "Hell yeah, nice job, John," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I did my work for today." Yeah. And I think a lot of people will do that, where you kind of just try and parrot the comment section to get people to like you. Yeah, and I think it's you'll probably end up kind of miserable, but you'll get attention while you want it. Kirk was the same way. I mentioned Kirk, where he was like, when Minahan came in, and it wasn't like he changed himself. Like he was that person at EEI too. And he still is an antagonistic guy. But I think anyone who looks at Kirk now versus 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever it was, like, you're like, oh, it's a completely different person. He's not, his content isn't as, at Barstool people, and he's not as attacking coworkers or people who the comment section doesn't like, or who the Reddit doesn't like, or whatever. And I think Kirk's just a downright delight now. And I had a relationship with him before he came to Barstool, and I liked him then. And there was a little phase where I didn't dislike Kirk, but I was just like, I'm not getting in that world of him like attacking I remember they called me once. They called, Ellie Schnitt was a big one. There were a lot of people where he was just like, that's what his content was focused on. And you go through phases with content. Like you make certain kinds, it's just what you feel. And certain times you just like, I'm going to do this. And other times like, I'm going to do this. And you're kind of just, it's evolving as a person or changing as a person.
I somehow got involved with Kirk just with the basketball stuff when we were hyping up this game. And I was just like, yeah, man, like they say they're going to play hard. And I was like, I got to defend myself, like just like hyping it up. Like, and then they're like, fuck him. We know his mom's like,
yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck?
That's
dude?
why at the onset when Kirk first came, and then it was much more like pointed attacks at people. I was like, I'm not getting that world. Cause I think I did at a time. I forget. I think it was like a cancel culture thing or something like that.
Yeah.
And I went on the show and I was just like, I was on the show. I was like, I'm not fucking arguing. What do you want to talk about? But like, I think Minifans like found like my dad's LinkedIn or some kind of shit. And it was just like, I'm not getting my family involved in this bullshit because
some guy who like lives in the same town as my mom is like a Minifan. He's like, I fucking hate your mom.
Yeah.
She's like literally just like the most ditzy lady that I know. Like
it was like, it wasn't even like people weren't like spamming my dad's in LinkedIn or anything like that, but like, they were tweeting it at me.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, this
They're
is
brutal.
not the world I want to be involved in.
I honestly would love to go on and make peace with them because I think that's better.
Oh, I think now, I think at this stage, I think I personally have made peace.
Yeah.
I think I'm friends with all the Minifans, and I think so. They probably don't think about me at all, but like,
Yeah.
I think, but in that moment, in that vacuum of time, I was like, fuck this. This is crazy. I'm not like family's work is getting involved in this. Like that's.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. And then I was like 3 people who had like dealt with my mom and through like plumbing, HVAC, like she lives by herself. Like, you know, I sometimes help her call companies to like have them come to the house, and they're coming at me on Twitter. I'm like, well, I just wrote down your Mom, don't deal with these companies anymore. And I mean, you got to, because like that's ridiculous. But shout out Kirk. I'd love to, if I was up in Boston, hop on your show. Like respect the grind and hustle of the guys, like the loyalty. Terrifying.
It's a terrifying group, and I don't think Tate has that. I don't know, but maybe he will.
He's gonna bark up the wrong tree, and who knows, even with like Kirk, and like that's gonna be crazy.
It is. This office, I will say, if it's an ongoing thing, if I've seen the videos of the blog and stuff like that, if someone doesn't punch him, that's crazy. Like I think Dave should have like a statement, not demanding he stop or anything like that, but just being like physical violence is allowed for the rest of the week.
Yeah, if he consents to it. Ebony was going to tase him. I was kind of
wait. If who consents to it?
If Tate consents to getting tased, he can get tased.
See that? No, take that off the table. Consent is not necessary.
Okay,
you're being antagonistic.
Yeah,
when you're antagonistic around people, they're going to react in certain ways. Some will just be annoyed quietly, such as myself. Although I'm not quietly now on my second podcast talking about it. Yeah. But the other people, like if you are intentionally being antagonistic, then you can get hit.
I know. If I didn't meet him from LA, I would have been like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I was like, dude, why are you doing this? Because I was just more befuddled and surprised. But like, this is the same person that like, you know, I spent 6 hours at a high noon event with. Like, being like, okay, we like, you know, this is your first time. Like, okay, so you usually hype people up, hand out the merch. Like, we got to shoot the promo. Everyone crowded. And he was like, oh man, like how many have you done of these? I was like, yeah, a couple. Like,
but does that make it worse or better to know like, he's not a bad guy. He's choosing to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people are just assholes and you're like, he's just an asshole. But you'd be like, oh, he has the ability to not be an asshole.
He's feeding on negative energy that he's getting positive reinforcement for.
Right.
So, I mean, that's his choice. Honestly, we might be able to bring him in if we really want to be like, yo, dude, like, do you realize you're feeding on egg? But I don't know if we want to like break that third wall with him.
It's the dance we always do here at Barstool and in life, really, where it's like this person is demanding attention. Do I want to give it to them? Like it's clearly all they want. And like I am. Again, it's pretty hard to maintain this opinion, seeing as I'm on my second podcast talking about it. But like, I'm of the belief of like, just ignore it, and you know, like
I brought it out of you.
I'm a was it Faberize? What do you do with the baby?
Ferberizer.
I'm like, just fucking cry and do your thing, and then I'll talk to you when you calm down.
I wanted to get your opinion on it because I knew it would be very level-headed and balanced. I honestly think of you as in this office is like quite wise to a degree.
Wise?
I wish
it's a bad look for Barstool Sports.
I know.
Who's this dumb baby? He's what a wise man.
No, I'm like, I wish I had some of the Ferberization techniques that you do instead of being like, what the fuck, dude? Like, maybe that just comes with age.
Yeah. 36 now, man. It is also like, the world doesn't change much. I've seen, in the content world and Barstool Sports, like it's been 15, 16 years, something like that. I've been here, like you see everything, and like it all comes back to earth. There'll be sharp upticks, sharp down pitfalls. It all comes back to earth in one way or another. How
do you see the New York office moving with like, there's now this narrative. There's it's getting attacked, like stirring it up, like actually antagonistic, being encouraged. Like here, the vibes in the office are immaculate.
Yeah.
Like coming in, like I come in as much as I can with my part-time status, but every time it's just like chill, blog, create something, shoot the shit, like content brainstorms that are honestly like every idea is kind of like, it's not negative. Like it's just bring a better idea.
Yeah.
That's like, cause that's what I sort of would get pissed off with in certain scenarios where just like, if you throw out an idea instead of just being like, like, okay, maybe we could probably think of something better. It just being like, fuck that shit. Like,
right.
Dude, I hate those types of vibes when being creative.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think they are very largely gone here.
Yeah.
And I think I don't think that they're like, I don't think that's for any particular reason. Like, I don't think it's because this person left or this person's here or this person's that. I think it's just kind of the way the waves are crashing right now, where it's like, yeah, it is pretty, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Non-antagonistic.
I was going to say like utopian, where like everyone's pretty happy and we're doing our thing. So
they just went to get, the viral sandwich.
Dude, I can't believe that thing. I can't believe they went and I didn't know about it, because I would have asked someone to get me one, because I've had it before. I was talking about this on Case Radio too. Like the old office, which you worked at, was much closer to Italy. So I'd go get it when we were there. I have not been back since, but my mouth is watering even just thinking about it right now.
Dude, yeah, they ran out of the bread. It went so viral. But apparently it's like one of the most viral tweets as of late.
Really?
Yeah. From
like 5 million views, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the craziest ones, because the view counts just came into play. Whereas if you go back to the Riggs, are you tougher than the fucking sun one?
Yeah.
There's no views. So
it was Riggs, not Riggs.
Riggs.
Yeah.
Sorry. Then like there's no view count. So I don't even know what that one was. I know the macrodosing Arian Foster one did like 200 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the script?
Yeah, the script.
The script was crazy.
But that was insane. I think that was tougher than the fucking sun, that one.
I would guess so. Yes, I would definitely guess so.
But crazy. Moving on. So you've been doing out of order sketches.
Yes.
I hear, and I hate to bring up this tough wound, and we can cut it if you don't want to talk about it.
Sure, it's fine.
Is it true that you're not the only sketch writer in the family anymore?
It's true and it's not true. In this, it is a distant cousin. I think.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever met her. I think her mom and my dad are cousins, I believe. And she grew up in California. Maybe we've crossed paths when we were younger or something like that. Well, but I say we, like we're the same age. I think she's like 20. I think she's very young. So now that I'm speaking out loud, I'm actually more certain we've never met. But so yes, there is a familial connection, but I don't think we know each other.
Would you possibly like do a collab on a sketch?
Yeah, of course. Like
she works for SNL.
She is on SNL. Yeah, Jane Wickline. She is. I've seen her. She was in a Nate Bargatze sketch last week or 2 weeks ago with. She was the lifeguard, and then she was on Weekend Update last week as well. But she's a new cast member.
There's a ton of cast members.
So many. I don't typically watch SNL. I obviously see sketches and stuff like that, but I don't typically watch it on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
I did the other week because I love Nate Bargatze so much. But I was shocked at how long the intro was. Like it was because they go through every cast member's name.
Oh yeah.
And it's insane. It's crazy. Like if you go pull up the SNL intro, it's like I'm going to throw out a number. It's like 30 names. And you know how they say it, like, and Billy football. And then they do another one. So it takes fucking forever.
I mean, SNL, I remember like growing up, like during like the 2008 election, like that was like my first intro to comedy because my like parents would love to watch it.
Yeah.
And like you knew all the cast members and they all done a huge thing, like Amy Poehler, Kristen Wiig, like all those OGs, everyone in the MacGrubers.
It's so funny to like talk to people of different ages. Ooh, such an interesting thing to say, John.
Yeah.
But like when you think it like that, those are your OGs. Like my OGs are like Will Ferrell and Jimmy Fallon and Chris Kattan and shit like that. And my dad's OGs. I'm explaining time to people.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I just take out some time here to explain time to everybody? But yeah, it is funny to hear
like
that
the
like,
eras.
those are your OGs.
But like, I don't think people could, if you're an OG, if this is your OG, there's too many people to remember.
Yeah. It's like Kenan Thompson. I don't even know who else like is I don't think I really know any other, like, obviously Che and Jost, but that's about it that I can really name.
True.
As like
It's probably hard for them to get famous from like, because there's so many rotations, like get notoriety.
I imagine it's hard to like get in a rhythm too. We just have so many different people, like, you know, just working here is the same thing. You're working with like kind of a supporting cast of sorts, but you know, people you work with intermittently. It's hard to get in a good groove with them until you're regularly doing it.
Yeah. And I think it is weird when you're not around someone and then they get put into your environment, like a Tate situation.
Yeah.
Then, like, you know, when I went to Chicago, like, you know, a lot of guys like didn't get my vibe. A lot of guys were like, oh, I think I can fuck with you. And then I was like, fuck you. And then
you didn't go in with an air horn?
I didn't go in with an air horn. I went in pumped up for the draft, and I feel like maybe went a little too hard on that one.
Wait, what was that?
Brandon was like, call me an idiot. And I was just like, fuck off, Brandon. Like, I'm about to like run the fastest I have. I went at Brandon.
Wait, you said draft. You mean combine?
The combine.
Yes. Okay,
So
I know what that is.
Yeah. So, yeah, but hey, now I'm realizing like, man, you know, you just live and you learn. And you grow up. There's a lot of that, but hey, so how do we get KFC to agree to do the show, to do Audiocraic?
What do you mean? Kevin would be die to do this.
Keep asking him, and I like don't want to ask him too much.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. He's one of those guys he's an OG New York guy. And whenever I talk to him, I'm like, fuck, like that's KFC. Like, I get a little like starstruck by KFC. I did ask him for donations for my campaign, which is hilarious.
Yeah. He talks about that.
That was the worst part of the campaign.
I completely forgot about this. Your congressional campaign.
Yeah. Now they're like about to like, I would have still been running this whole time.
Still been running?
Yeah. And it would.
So is the election November 2nd?
Yeah. So
that's when that election is?
I'm looking at the two candidates and I saw them debate and I was like, oh, dude,
who are the two candidates? Because I actually I know a little bit now in the sense of watching sports these days is just nonstop.
Yeah. Tom Swazi and Mike LaPetrie.
LaPetrie, I know. Swazi, I don't think.
He's the incumbent.
LaPetrie's is he the guy who you were going with?
Petri dish, yeah. He was
right, of course.
Yeah, so he got the nom because he eliminated everybody else. But I'm rooting for him because I know I could beat him. No, I'm kidding. But
is he the guy? I've seen so many political ads in the most recent weeks that I'm sure I'm getting people confused. Is he the one that, like, he's got DUIs and stuff like that? No. Is that Mike Lawler? Mike Lawler might be another one.
There's Mandel. That's the District 17.
Okay.
There's so many districts. So I saw their debate and I was like, yo, dude, like if I was in this, like this would have been crazy. They were just very buttoned up and like no flair. LaPetrie tried to get some digs in, but it was like,
now your interest in politics is like, it's genuine, obviously. Like, do you like it outside of content?
Yeah, I do. In that, I don't know. I just think it's important.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things, like you kind of do have to pay attention because like shit can happen.
I agree with you on that.
It totally affects you have a civic responsibility to vote.
Yeah.
Like, or not.
I'm with you there. I'm with you so far. Sorry to interrupt.
But you know, just know what you're voting for.
Yeah.
If you're going to vote.
Yeah. I have recently like gotten, I guess it's angry I'm trying to decide what emotion it is.
Yeah.
Like I hate hearing people be like, well, it doesn't affect me. Like, yes, it does. Or not even yes, it does. There's like, it does affect people.
Dude, I sort of been staying away from politics lately because it's just like I realized that by even dipping my toe in, and at the time I didn't realize, number one, how easy it is to like get like to declare yourself for an election.
Yeah.
It is ridiculously easy how like just like programming wise you can enter yourself in a congressional race. Like kind of like fucking around. It's like it's easier than making a Facebook. Like
To edge yourself, really?
yeah. So
were you were fucking around when it started, and then you started taking it seriously?
kind of also like PFT was like, oh, you should run for Congress. And I was like, if fucking, that terrible dude's running again. And honestly, he's one of our first guests on the podcast, George Santos.
Yeah.
So once I saw what he sort of dealt with, he definitely is guilty of campaign finance violations. But like basically the machine turned on him hard and they just like ramped up, made him seem like the worst person ever after like doing shit that like a lot of people in Congress do.
Yeah. But just because everyone's doing it, if you get caught,
doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right. But if you get caught, you should still be in trouble for it.
Yeah. Of course. I got caught up in like the moment of being like, fuck, I could do this. Like it would actually be great. I like, the patriotism just kind of comes out sometimes. I can't help it. I'm like, just like actually be a transparent like politician. Just tweet about it. Like tweet about what you do every day. Like this is my itinerary for the day. Like be like, do a podcast every week, create content for your customers who are the tax paying people of that district. And like, honestly, had to like go right in the beginning to win the primary.
Yeah.
And then just be like, hey, you know what? Like I'm a young guy. Like these are my, views, and just sort of steer. It's kind of fucked up now that I look back at it. Like, you have campaign advisors be like, you need to say certain things about this. Like, they're great dudes, a little farther right than I am actually. Like just from certain standpoints, like they're like, oh, you should definitely mention you're Catholic. I'm like, well, was raised Catholic, but like, I'm not hardcore Catholic. You're like, we just mention it. And like, that implies that's like a whistle, like a dog whistle for like 1,000 different campaign statements. The scary thing was the super PACs coming to my house to try to get me to sign off on like, well, do you support the right to work, the Second Amendment? Like,
really?
They just hounded me because I just wouldn't answer. I was like, I'm not signing shit. and they're like, well, like, you should sign them if you want to like, and it's crazy. But
did the process change how you see politicians now?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like positively or negatively? Negatively. It's not as much so much like you mentioned earlier how you went further right than you wanted to or had to or whatever you said. Are you ever like, they said that? Are you so like, are you seeing where they come from, or are you more like stop coming from there?
Seeing where they come from to win, I realize that if you're an idealist and want to do the right thing, you will never get elected.
Yeah.
That's what I realized, because the people who get to that point will have had to have done so many things to get there that just are outside of any moral code.
Yeah. So are you done with politics, or are you done for the time being?
I don't know. It depends on where my life goes. I don't know what, my employment status will be in the next 2 months. So like,
Audiocraic's killing it. So I think
I'm trying.
I think you got a good point from negotiation there.
Well, it's going very well for what it is. Like we just hit 1 million views on YouTube.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Which is like, compared to a lot of stuff on the wall, like it's a great building spot.
Yeah.
But there's just there's so many verticals at this company nowadays. So it's like, you're competing with professional athletes.
Yeah.
It's like, there's too many sweats in podcasting nowadays.
Kevin and I have said that for a long time now. It's like we'd get like people on the show and be like an A-list celebrity, and they're like, yeah, I'm starting a podcast. Like, why the fuck are you starting a podcast, dude? This is for us.
Yeah.
You can't you go act in movies. Go do that stuff.
But not all of them can do it.
No.
Yeah.
No, because it is just like, it's just connecting and having conversation, and not everyone can do that.
Like the Hawk Tua podcast. Grace did it. Grace, I don't know if they're going to release it. I actually don't want to throw Grace on the bus, but there was many people who did it who felt that they were the podcast host.
Yeah. But that's also like, that's kind of partly, Haley Welch is her name.
Yeah. I bet she's a great person,
Like
but
you just got thrown into the fire so fast. Like, we were podcasting for, I'll call it 6-7 years before we ever had a guest. That's not entirely true. Like we had Cutler on, we had Logan Couture on, but like they were just on. They were buddies on via Zoom. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like interviewing guests yet, and I still don't think I'm good at it. But I think I'm better than I once was.
Well, yeah, just because you get into the vibe, like you get into like bringing things up that about them. Like honestly, I don't do much prep for my interviews.
Yeah.
And I never have, just because you end up asking natural questions.
I go through that all the time with like when we have an A-lister on, like a real like good get, I like really try and learn everything about them. And then I hate it because like the example I always use is Chris Hemsworth, and like we had Hemsworth, and I was like, I gotta be on my fucking shit for this. Like this is fucking Thor. Like, this is the guy right here. And so I just learned everything about Chris Hemsworth, and then I didn't have any more questions. Like then we're doing the podcast, and I'm asking him questions that I already know the answer to, just because I want to hear him tell me this story rather than having an organic conversation about it.
Exactly. So what I'll do, and this is like, if I know there's clippable things technically, like I'll bring them up.
Yeah.
But those will be my unnatural questions.
That's exactly what I did it with. Specifically, there's a story about, you've seen the movie Vacation. It was a remake of the Chevy Chase classic.
Yeah.
It's like Ed Helms and I forget who else, but Chris Hemsworth has a cameo in it.
Yeah.
Where I think he's the wife's brother or something like that. I forget, but he's somehow tangentially related to the family, and he's got a horse cock. Like this dick that is just like, dude, obviously it's a prosthetic, but it's like to his knees. Mm-hmm. And I'd heard a story that he had, and I'd heard it by him telling it, that he had put it on he kept the prosthetic and kept it on a mantle next to Thor's hammer. And I just asked about that because I just wanted to hear if that was true, and it was, and he told the story. But like, that's exactly a great clip. I just wanted that clip, Yeah. But I hate doing shows for that reason. I hate promo. I hate like being like, oh, this would be a good clip. Oh, this would be a good clip. Like if it's just a good show, then it's a good show. That's all it has to be.
I mean, I'm now this 51 episodes into a solo pod that, was kind of created out of nowhere. And, it's funny which episodes do the best, because some will, come out of nowhere doing crazy, and then some will be complete duds. And just to see like which clips affect it, if it's bloggable, just the promo is something that I honestly think that like it's a great podcast, and a lot of people are like, why does this not get like main page promo? And I'm not lying about this, but like I feel like if it just got a little spark, or like it would just. Well, that's 51 podcasts to listen to now. Like,
is that how many are here? 51?
50. This is the 51st podcast.
No shit. Oh wait, no, I thought you were saying like on the Barstool Network.
Oh yeah,
51st of Audiocraic.
Yeah.
But the you said something right before that sparked something from me. But yes, you were saying like it just needs that one thing, and I think that's like the game of content.
Yeah,
where like every episode you put out, every clip you put out, every blog you write, every sketch you make, like everything's an unscratched lottery ticket. We're like, this could be the one that goes nuts. And I think TikTok really like helped that, because I remember when TikTok first came out and everyone's like, I don't know, you just post something and it goes viral. And like everything you post could be the thing that could be your Haktua, could be your spit on that thing.
I mean, one of our most watched clips is Dana Beers talking about how he was interviewing the guy that got put into the Zach Bryan song.
The Daytona 500 guy.
Yeah, the Daytona 500 guy. So like that's been popping off, and it's just crazy. Shout out Nikki Quinn. He's been building an awesome social media behind all this. He's the producer of this. And if you have a podcast and you want to hire him full time, like please take him, because the work this guy does, I need to pay him more, and I try to as much as I can. But if you have a podcast, hit up Nikki Quinn, because he is a pro's pro. Like he could definitely get hired here if like we were hiring.
Yeah.
His body of work.
If there was extra money, he could have some.
Yeah. But it's crazy. I mean, we're here talking, and you know, it's funny because you don't get to have these conversations with people you work with that much here. Because it's kind of like no one wants to talk about. I don't know. Like sometimes you want to like hone your craft, and like this is a craft.
Yeah.
And you end up talking to people who, like, you know, besides shooting the shit about like fun content ideas, like you got to talk about building a podcast from like the ground up.
Right.
It's
and it's weird to ask your coworkers.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know why it is, and maybe it's just for me, but like I always feel like hesitancy, and then I guess it's probably because you're admitting you're lesser than.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'd love to like talk to not that I can't. You know I could call Dan, I know I could call PFT Dave or anything like that, but like you don't. You know what I mean? Like what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then I actually talked to Dan about it when I was about something when I was in Chicago recently, and that was kind of my first time where I was like, "What's your take on this?" Like asking me, because it's undoubtedly like, you know, you'll have mean commenters and all that stuff, but like undoubtedly everyone who works here is very successful and talented in making content. They're like, whatever you have to say about it is they're here, which is one of the bigger media companies around. So like they have talent, and it's interesting and helpful to be able to pick their brains, but I never do it. Yeah.
Like something that was crazy is that I have an American Bulldog, and he's just, imagine an all white with uncropped ears, Miss Peaches.
Yeah. I know what your dog looks like.
Yeah. Just describe it to the public. You're like,
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. He, you know, looks a lot like Miss Peaches, and, you know, him going down the stairs, a spiral staircase, went viral. And like, you know, because he couldn't go down the stairs, I had to carry him down. And I literally did the whole Miss Peaches going down the stairs bit, if you want to say, when I moved into a new apartment. And it did decently well, but it's like, you know, Dave's built such a big thing over, like, he can do stuff and it just is automatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like anything. It's just anything he touches is gold. And it's like, that's crazy.
But that's 20 years, 25 years of,
I know.
Just like, I mean, like you can look back on old Dave's, like, you know, like, yes, now he has the Midas touch, but and to be fair to Dave, and don't listen to this, Dave, he always has, like, everything. It would be, he's always had the Midas touch on a smaller scale. That made sense. Like, he had less fans, but everyone loved whatever it was he was doing. But like, it's all figuring it out. And like, everyone here is pretty young. Like, I mean, not me, I mean, other people, but like most people here in their 20s, like, you're figuring out who you are. And by who you are, you're figuring out like what kind of content you make. Yeah.
And then it's like, you know, a guy like Jack Mac, he just hangs in there and blows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, you know, Jack Mac, like, you know, I've had similar conversations with him on here. Like, how'd you do it? And he was like, well, you just grind every day. Like, you can't, you know,
the Jack Mac grinds, dude. He grinds. Like, he put out videos, I think, and I don't know much about how Jack Mac does. I other than I know he grinds. Like, I don't think he cares. Like, when a video is posted, I think people get too wrapped up in that. Like, when they're like, I gotta make sure like people are on break from lunch, or people are on driving home from work. I think my understanding is Jack Mac's just a shooter, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Well, he shoots at night.
Yeah.
He's grinding here late night.
Like, he'll do like 2 a.m. Like it's not just. It's like he'll be. You know, when there's news, there's Jack Mac kind of deal. Like, I think I almost like if content was sports, like, I think a lot of content has gotten taken over by analytics, where everyone is like, well, this is, you know, this guy's Corsi is great or whatever. Like, is it good? Just then keep doing that. Is it bad? Like, then whatever time you put it out, whatever time, like, it's not going to fucking matter.
Yeah. I mean, it really, because some things just blow up. Just blow up in, like, you know, it'll blow up on Instagram, but not TikTok. Like, it's crazy how that happens. And it's really just volume shooting. It's
100%. That's why I was saying with like content is just like a lottery ticket. Like, I don't know, this one might work. It might not. Let's just fucking shoot it. It always reminds me of something I think of a lot is Pablo. I always get it because of Pedro Pascal, Pablo Picasso. You know any of his paintings?
No.
No one does.
Did he paint himself without his ear?
No, that's Van Gogh.
No, that was Van Gogh.
There you
Yeah.
go. No one know. Like I think the way I saw it broken down was something like an art history major can probably tell you 10 Pablo Picasso paintings, and an expert, a casual art fan can tell you one. 99.9% of people can't tell you any of Pablo Picasso's work, but they know, everyone knows his name because he was just a fucking creator. He just made. And I always think of that. I was like, that's pretty smart. Like he just he threw it. I think he painted, or he was also a bit of a sculptor. Like he had like 3,000 works of art, and most people can't name any of them, but he was a fucking guy.
Was he the one that was like alive fairly recently?
Yeah, he died in the 70s.
That's wild. Yeah, I always thought he was like with Van Gogh, like medieval times.
Yeah.
Why are you painting in the 70s? There was music to make and like drugs,
right?
drugs to do. Like,
I think Pablo was hitting all of it.
yeah, no, he was, but like, there's such crazy works of art that people did like when, they were 18, 20 back in, like medieval France or like Renaissance Europe, like, and they're just perfectly crafted sculptures. Like I think Michelangelo did the Sistine Chapel, like when he was 35, but it's like, or I think he was 28. I need to get the right age there, but like,
also not a painter.
Yeah.
He learned to paint the Sistine Chapel.
Oh my God, you're right.
He's a sculptor.
Because David, statue of David. Wow.
That's why if you look at a lot of Michelangelo's like painting, it's the muscular detail. Me and you, couple beef boys. Yeah. Because he had such an understanding of the physical body from sculpting that he started doing like the very detailed paintings.
I mean, the craziest thing is like the exact like veins and tendons on the way the hands are. And it's just like in the exact details of the muscle. And it's just like, whoa, like how they were cutting up bodies. Like how'd they get so good? They didn't have the drugs or the music to listen to. So they were just cutting up.
Just what do you call it? Like biology class.
Yeah.
But another Michelangelo fun fact, all his sculptures are like pure marble.
Yeah.
And that is kind of how sculptures have continued today. He did it as an ode to Egyptian sculptures, but he didn't know that Egyptian sculptures were actually all painted. It was just by the time he saw them, all the paint had been washed away. Egyptian sculptures actually had they had eyes painted in them and they were all painted. It was just because time had washed away all the sculptures that he thought they were just straight marble.
So I had this theory, similar type theory that like, Las Vegas has the greatest collection of like think about Caesar's Palace is like Roman-esque.
Yeah.
Like there's the, the Luxor, which is like Egyptian, and like
Luxor's Egyptian.
Isn't it the pyramid?
Oh yeah. I was picturing it with the sword. What is that one? What's in?
Then there's like New York, and Las Vegas, like hypothetically, let's say everything on Earth gets nuked, is one of the greatest preservations of like classical antiquity, like architecture from around the world, Paris, France. Like, and it might be just basically like the Rolodex of art.
Well, you're missing out on the big one. Epcot. Epcot's got it all, baby.
Yeah.
Epcot, you can go drink around the world in Epcot.
They're definitely getting nuked. That's where our secret base is or some shit.
There in Orlando?
Oh yeah, there's some shit under Orlando.
All right, now we're in Audiocraic.
Yeah, it's the
now we're getting into the gritty.
Yeah, there's probably the Nazis probably all escaped under there because Walt Disney, big time Nazi,
big Nazi guy. Yeah.
the like enter to the center of the earth is there. He took them all in.
I think. And what's the? There was a show on Amazon Prime, Hunters, which was. I don't think it was true, but it's Al Pacino, the guy from Ted Mosby from fucking whatever. But they're hunters in America in the mid to late 40s who are Jewish people who are hunting Nazis that we saved. Oh. And they go hunting in Florida a couple times.
Oh shit!
Yeah, because you know why? Because it's where NASA is.
Oh, okay.
They go to Cape Canaveral.
Yeah, they weren't too obvious. Like one Zazie, dude. Yeah, that must have been. That was probably legal, right?
What?
For them just to hunt them.
I don't think so, but they were good. They were good. It probably should have been legal.
Yeah, it should have been legal.
But, like they were, you know, as the show teaches me, who knows if it's true or not, but like we hired their good scientists. We're like, well, look, they got some bad ideas, but they got some good ones too.
And you know, some of those scientists may have been like, we'll kill you and your family if you don't do science for us.
Right.
Yeah. So who knows? I want to know what the Russians got. Because basically they just like pilfered the whole middle of the Axis empire and then just like took the tech from each side. And like, apparently there's some crazy experiments that like the Soviet Unions may have kept that we don't know about, or we have them as well, but it's like UFO technology. I don't know.
Do you think the Russians have UFO technology?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, did you hear about, recently, here's a clip. There was a bunch of drones that were, you know, as big as 20 feet long that were spotted outside an Air Force base near Langley, Virginia.
I heard about this a little bit.
Yeah. So they had like basically a bunch of drones, you know, and these weren't commercial drones. These were advanced tech drones that use different frequencies than any commercially bought a drone receiver, and the U.S. military couldn't do anything about it. The cops in the area couldn't do anything about it. They didn't know what jurisdiction exactly would have to attack them. The National Guard was called, and they're like, "Can you like shoot these down with a net?" And they're like, I don't know if we can do that." And then this whole time they were coming in and disappearing at rates that we just don't see normally. So it's like, what the fuck is that?
I don't get concerned with that stuff.
You know,
I don't, because first of all, there's nothing I can do about it. But like I've said this before, you gotta just get to create your own world.
Yeah.
I just live in a world that I've created in my head, and it, like in my head, it's no different than sharks getting close to shore. Where you're like, yeah, I don't know, that's a fucking weird thing, and now it's not here anymore.
but what if you're swimming?
If I'm swimming, I'll get out of the water.
Okay, so you're just seeing it. And
Yeah, like they always say that deep space or the deep ocean is just as crazy as deep space.
Right.
Where it's like, I don't know, there's a bunch of shit down there that's probably dangerous to me, but it seems like I'm giving him his space, he's giving me my space, and I'll just fucking keep on keeping on.
But the proximity to the base was that these guys were floating like 20 feet off the ground, then going 100 feet off the ground, then going right on the ground. Like one of these could buzzsaw your head off.
Why? Okay, so my question: why wouldn't the base just shoot?
Yeah, it's because I don't think they knew what they were shooting at.
They didn't know who they could.
Yeah, because it's like permission to, you know, like, because there's a hypothetical situation where it's aliens and we've just, you know,
Yeah, no, actually, let me take it all back. I tip my cap to them for not shooting. Like, that's a good idea. Good idea to not starting an intergalactic war.
Yeah. Or B, it's, you know, they're rigged to blow and then it blows everything up. They're just like, well, they're moving, like hopefully they move away. But I mean, it's like the same reason why those balloons, those weather balloons that China sent, we never shot down until Trump found out about it. And then they didn't tell Trump about it. Biden administration, they didn't tell Trump about the balloons because they knew that Trump would be like, blow the fuck out of those balloons. But it's wild stuff. And drone warfare is insane.
Drone warfare is crazy. It all takes place in Vegas, right? Isn't Vegas the hub for it?
No, dude, I'm talking about Ukraine right now.
But I'm talking about, but I mean like American drones. Aren't they all fired from Vegas?
Yeah, there's the Air Force base that does a lot of the Middle East work.
Yeah, which is so funny to think that someone's at the Luxor, like having a tough night, and it's like, all right, I gotta go to work in the morning, and it's just like,
Dude, this guy just like, imagine you're like at a blackjack table and some guy's like hammered, and you're like, yo, what's up, man?
Tough day at work today,
dude. I just fucking blew up the wrong base.
like people sitting at the blackjack table having a tough day at work, and you're like, I think I take the cake, dude. I bombed the wrong wedding this weekend.
Jesus. But no, the really scary shit is the anti-personnel drones that are being used in the middle of Ukraine right now.
Okay, tell me about these.
Both sides. Basically, these things are you see how drones move, right? Like commercial drones.
Yeah.
You see them fly. You're like, oh, they move like really fast, and like they go side to side, and like, oh, like one's getting close to us, but like, oh, I'm going to grab it. It just flies up and like, oh, I can't outmaneuver this thing by any means. Yeah. They have those things chase you and then they turn into basically a razor blade, like a ninja star the size of a basketball, and they just mow you down and then explode because there's a grenade on them too.
Why?
Because we're in like unfathomable human like horrors.
But we like why just use the grenade? Like, why do you have to chop me into pieces first?
Well, because you could also make the drone more effective if you make the wings have blades on it.
Well, you're saying they blow up right away after, right? So
Yeah.
just blow up with me. Don't cut me to pieces.
Well, you can get cut.
You know what I mean? Like, if I was going to get attacked by a drone, I'd be like, all right, you got me? Can you just fucking blow me up? I don't really need to go under a lawnmower right now. Like, I did see that video. There was a video of a drone, like, I think it was a drone over a Russian guy who was like laying, like saying his prayers and stuff like that. And I was like, that is fucking wild. But I didn't know about the lawnmower aspect of it. That seems
on some of them. And the worst thing about those ones is that, like, remember Black Mirror? There's that dog running, the dog episode where there's the dog.
I haven't seen all the episodes, but
okay. But basically it's this like what looks like the Boston Robotics.
Oh yeah.
Dog like running and like trying to kill you. And like, oh, that's terrifying. But like, you could lock yourself in a cellar.
It's a black and white episode.
Yes.
Okay. I have seen this one. Yep.
Yeah. So like you could, basically use a lot of ways to get away from this thing. If you could see it from far away, the drone's just like hitting you from 3D.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just on the ground. Like that's terrifying. Like you could buzz one in like into hallways and shit.
Well, we've had one run through here.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. So that speed run.
Yeah.
Imagine if that thing was chasing you. And the craziest thing is the Chinese are producing weapons for like the drone technology and a lot of like the batteries that we put in the NATO drones and also the ones for Russia. So like they're coming from the same, like, it's just like, that's crazy.
So now I have a question for you with all this, with UFO talk and drone talk. Are you interested in this or are you afraid of this?
So
like, are you more like, oh, this is interesting, or are you like, this is going to end the world?
Both.
Okay.
Both in that. So for example, the UFOs that move in crazy speeds actually make me feel safe because there's a possibility that they are actually highly advanced classified US government tech that could stop a nuke before it hits a city, that could like protect us from, like an
Iron Man situation where you kind of catch the missile and you point it another way.
I mean, if you could outmaneuver like some of the regular rockets that we have, like, and also Neil deGrasse Tyson told me recently that the new nukes they have like are pretty accurate and don't have the nuclear fallout. So if you're out of major zones, like you're not going to get that nuke winter that we all thought was going to happen in the 70s.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you just have to survive the huge blast and sonic wave and all that. But like they actually like denuked the nukes. It's more the physics that's going to kill you. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit. So like you learn more about that. And then you're like, okay, so like if I'm in this part of the country that's in the perfect distance from all our major cities, like there's a chance.
Is that why you don't live in the city?
I live in the city now.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I used to live upstate when I first came back to Barstool.
Yeah. That's how I remember.
No, but yeah, but actually, even then, still you could survive it, but it would definitely hit its targets. But yeah, so the UFOs might be helping like save us, and the new nukes are also like denuked, which is wild to say. But like those two facts through fear, I found interest.
Yeah.
But also interest into fear.
Your deal with drones is kind of like women's deals with like serial killers.
Yes.
You're like, I'm kind of scared of it, but also I'm kind of turned on by it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm turned on.
Okay.
It's like, I'm like, holy shit, that's insane. Like we've hit the third level of warfare. Like I don't know what World War III is going to be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Like that's a Churchill quote, I want to say.
Okay.
But like we're seeing what we're getting to.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, wait, like this might all be Tesla robots coming to fight each other. And like, we don't even have to be involved. Did you see those new Tesla robots?
I did. I don't think they were robots.
You think they're people in suits?
I'm not like, that's not my opinion. It's something I read. I don't know the truth to it, but that it was employees in heptic suits in a different room were using the robots. Again, I don't know.
No, that would make sense because they wouldn't have, if you wanted to bring something out, like you could have the mechanics ready, but the controls would be, getting these robots to be coordinated has been the hardest thing for the humanoid ones.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of malfunctionings.
Why are they made as humans? That's my question.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it would be easier to make them do tasks that we do and don't want it, like laundry.
Can't you give an R2D2 type deal and just give it arms? I think the fact that they look like humans turns me off to it completely. I have no interest in them. Like, even if they could do my laundry, like, I don't want you in the house. I don't need a fucking human in the house.
But they could do human interfaces. So they could interact with the washing machine. They would be easier to implement into your life.
But why is it any easier than a circular short robot with arms?
Because things like stairs, doors, like they could interact with things, because the human is a very versatile being.
Yeah.
And all the things that processes we've created are so that we can do them. So you got to make a human replacement to do all those things. And you know what? Like AI, like hasn't helped, actually it has helped to a degree, like with like workplace stuff.
Yeah.
But the utility of some of these bots will be so huge, and it will there will be like a good a time period where they're all implemented and we're all just living like Wall-E. Like we're all just like fucking podcasting and shit and just like having robot slaves. But
I don't think I'm going to live in that world.
You might not get there, but
no, I'm like, even if it happens in my lifetime, like, I think I'm done. Like, I don't think I'm going to be an AI guy. I've never used Chat GPT. I don't, you hit a point every human who's ever existed did where you're like, I'm not learning that technology. That just doesn't interest me. Like it's my dad with a phone. My dad does not use his phone really. Like I obviously have some of those genetics, and like, I'm not, I don't want to do that.
So you're going to have like people like the super rich who are going to start doing it to like flex. Yeah. Basically be like, oh, we have a robot servant. And then it's going to like get more and more normalized. And,
right.
Basically we're going to get to the point where it's like, when do we start giving the robots rights? And then all those super rich people who are just flexing back in the day are going to be demonized. And it's like, we have your ancestry DNA that shows
slave owners
3%, 3% robot owner, 5% slave owner. Because people like look back and they say like, oh my God, how could you be that cruel to a human? And it's like, it'll probably be 100 years and they'll be like, how could you be so cruel to a being, like a being, a non-carbon based being?
But I to an extent agree with that. I think there is something like weird about you if you're just like if you were, and I did it as a kid. And so like I'd be like, fuck you to like Smarter Child, which is probably before your time, but it was like, an AI type bot on AIM, on AOL Instant Messenger, where you could be like, what's up? And it would just talk to you. Yeah. And I'm sure I sent it some like, fuck you or whatever. Like, I didn't extensively do it, but I'm sure I mentioned it at some point. But like, I do think there is something like, if you are just like downright disrespectful or rude or, worse, extreme, like, whatever, racist or violent with robotics, like there's something weird about you. Yeah. If you like, I don't know, I just have fun hitting my robot. Yeah. Why? Why is that fun for you?
There are people who torture their Roombas.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a fucking lunatic.
Yeah. Like, and
you might be crazier than if you torture people. It's like you're not, there's nothing even happening to this robot. Yeah. Like if you're getting a sick twisted joy out of someone else's pain, at least like there's pain happening to them. There's nothing happening to the Roomba.
Well, the Roomba battles, I will say, are kind of crazy that you can like hook up weapons to Roombas and then make them fight and then like battle bot.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sick and twisted
but that's like, again, the Roomba can't feel anything. So like,
but it's a belief we have now, but the the electrical transmission might one day be like, oh my God, like the robots are like, if you had done that to us, I don't know. It's gonna be wild. I think it'll help in space. They'll help in space.
Yeah.
All they need is electricity, building colonies. Huge. That's probably how we'd build colonies.
Right.
Like in Mars, we'd have someone like we'd send this legion out to just go do all the work. And then like, this home's going to be ready in 50 years by the time we get there. So you'll send them out to build shit. And then you'll cause you have to send them so far in advance. And then you'll send the colonizing ships later.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they get there, it's ready, which might be huge for us to be interplanetary species.
It might be.
Which I think would be pretty cool. I mean, that like why we need to get to that.
Most of the stuff I'm like, I'm not interested. Like if we could go to Mars, I'd check it out. I like seeing new places.
Yeah. But they would kind of be lame because, I think they'd be a lot like casinos and cruise boats because they're like indoor places. There's not much outdoor.
Yeah. And you just listed two of my least favorite places in the world. So never mind. Maybe I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'd like to take if I can go on like a Matt Damon, The Martian walking tour of the planet.
Yeah.
I'd like that. But yeah, if you're telling me the new planet is a casino or a cruise boat, not interested.
Yeah, but they probably have like hydroponic like farms and cool stuff.
Who would choose the laws?
It would probably be space law.
Space law? Would the United Nations implement that? Who handles that?
Well, I think, that's like where, do we get to a one world government? Like, is that in the like makings? Like, that's what we need to do in order to go to other planets.
Is that, I said, will you start this by telling me you went too far right and now you're a globalist?
No, that's why I'm saying that's like, there's the people who go to, exactly. Like we need to institute a one world government so we can, be interplanetary. Like
America makes the laws. We make the fucking laws.
So that's why we have to exert our dominance on every other country so we make the laws in the end.
Get the drones out to Ukraine. Start there. Yeah. No, I see the big vision now.
Oh God, we were so stupid before. How are we going to have the Second Amendment in space? Oh my God. But yeah, that's going to be wild. But I don't think I'll ever see it. But maybe it gets to the point where.
Okay. So wait, now I have another question for you. Mm-hmm. If you don't think you'll ever see it, why are you spending so much time on it?
Because think about the future in like what can the human beings can accomplish is like super interesting to me. Not just with sports, but with art. Like it used when you're a kid, like sports is like something you can much easier like analyze. Like you do it more.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, dude, like Michael Jordan's insane. Like he can do that. Like, Tom Brady can like do that, like make those throws, like, and you're trying to do it. And you're like, because that's really, sports are really for children.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like, it's something that, kids have so much energy and like, it's good for, life lessons and stuff. And like, you can conceptualize that and you don't really get into like arts, at least for me, like, stuff till like later, like learning about like civilization and like different cultures, like has really become more interesting to me as I gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's a freedom.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of the same way. Like I've probably in the last 5-10 years, maybe I've always liked going to museums and seeing that kind of shit. Yeah. But like I've definitely done it progressively more as I've gotten older. And I think a lot of that is just like now I have the freedom to, and now I have the time, I have the
free will.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't have 5 jobs. I'm lucky that I get to like, it's almost like, it's like not a status symbol because it's certainly not that, but like you're lucky. It's a privilege to get to even have time to understand that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't, when you're younger, you're going to class and you're going to school and you're doing you got a job, you got all kinds of
being forced to do it.
Yeah. And now it's like, okay, now I got a little time to myself to look at some stuff I'm interested in. Like I actually kind of interested in this fucking art, or I'm interested in this history, or I'm interested in this.
Like this far along, like there's so much lost knowledge we don't know about from the past, like the painted statues.
Yeah.
Like, are people like, for example, and this is a huge callback, but did people think in Renaissance Italy, where all these artists were making stuff that were replicas of like the Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians, that they were like Las Vegas. That they were just replicating, and they're like, yo, this is so tacky. Like what do you mean you're creating Greek gods? Like, this is so fake and artificial.
There definitely were. Like, there were definitely artists who were thinking they were creating their own. Then there were artists who were doing it in that vein. And then there were artists who were kind of lesser artists who thought that was tacky. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, they're not even creating their own stuff. Like, fuck these guys. Like, for sure that was happening in the art community. Little whispers happening.
Yeah. Like, that's insane. Cause I mean, Vegas like the architecture is kind of tacky. Yeah. It's just a straight rip, but I love it. I love it.
You're a Vegas guy?
Oh, I love
Oh,
Vegas.
I hate it.
Dude.
Probably my least favorite city.
Dude, I love it because you just like, you walk around, you can like.
No, Billy, you can't. You can't walk around the fucking city.
Yes,
you can't cross the street in that goddamn city.
Well, you got to know the route.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well,
Just let me cross the street, man.
But you can explore, and then it's like, oh shit, here's like a fucking nice cafe. Like, I'm gonna have a fucking espresso and some French shit.
You're gonna have an espresso, are you?
Yeah.
At the cafe in Vegas?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Like, oh, I'm gonna have I'm gonna have a chocolate croissant. Like, low key, kind of a great date, like place to like. If you're not gambling, you should gamble at a DraftKings casino if you go to Las Vegas. But
yeah, you got 2 months.
But and then like, I don't know, you can just hop around to different restaurants. There's tons of different food.
Yeah, I do like Old Vegas. I've only been once, but
Yeah.
I went with my parents and I had a lot of fun there. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and then you're like in the fucking Luxor, and you're like in New York, and you're like, oh, they mimicked that part of New York. That's fucking wild.
Yeah,
Like,
weird choice.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's completely.
What part did they replicate? I don't know New York.
No, it's just like it's Midtown New York.
Midtown.
It's like, oh, they mimicked that building. Maybe I just know it because I'm from New York, and it's like, oh, okay, like that's your depiction of New York. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's also just like the crazy dopamine hits that you get while you're there, and plus I'm drunk the whole time.
That helps. That helps.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Vegas, kind of walkable.
What is your favorite city you've ever been to? Do you travel a lot? I feel like you do.
I've ended up, and I'm thankful that I have. I like went to school, tiny school, like in the middle of the woods, and I was like, if I don't get out of here, I'm gonna blow my brains out.
Yeah.
Like, I just went abroad. It was cheaper than the tuition.
Where'd you go abroad?
Florence.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I low key might have brought COVID to the United States because that was a horror movie. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Like, apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I was in Florence when Northern Italy got hit by COVID, because Northern Italy was the second place where people were like, oh shit, this shit's spreading. And it's because Northern Italy, fun fact, all the Milan fashion places that make made in Italy shit, it's made in Italy by Chinese workers that are flown in bi-weekly.
Really?
Who stay 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out. And the markup of flying in those workers who they pay like nothing. So it's like made in Italy by Chinese workers who then make it in China and make ripoffs. And like, basically, like,
so those 2 weeks they're going home to make the knockoffs and they come back to make the real ones, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's more that they can just have so much higher margins by not using Italian labor. Plus, like, Italy's been having a shrinking population issue for a very long time.
Yeah, my buddy's becoming a citizen.
Yeah, my buddy is too.
Yeah.
They're all going back. They're all like, yo, you can pay me to like live in this island.
He's like, I don't know. I just feel like having 2 passports.
Yeah, well, my buddy's like literally trying to get his citizenship, go live there. I played football with him. He's playing for a team in Italy right now. And like, he's trying to get Italian citizenship because then they pay you more and you can play for more teams. And
oh, really?
He could actually like get a free house. Like, they're subsidizing, and he like a nice ass fucking villa, and like the cost of living there is so cheap relative.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
Yeah. So, like,
so you can only play like, so this is American football, I imagine.
yes, yeah.
You can only play for certain teams if you're not a citizen.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So for an American, there's like 2 spots for Americans, and then there's like 3 spots for non Italian foreign players, and then like the rest of the team has to be Italian.
It's like what do you call it when you have like an intramural team? You're like, you got to have 2 girls on a team. It's like the opposite. Like, you can only have 2 Americans.
You do not have enough Italians on this team. So if he gets Italian citizenship, then he gets to be an Italian, and they have higher perks because like you get year-round housing. But he I don't know how long he'll do that. He's loving it over there. He was like, this is my homeland. Like, I've been missing this place my entire life. I just never knew it. I'm like, yeah, dude. Like that's
it. Kind of when I played club hockey at FSU, a lot of my buddies played real hockey.
Yeah.
And real schools, but like D3, like a lot of like NEPSAC, like Con College, Middlebury, stuff like that. And they would see videos of my games and they'd be like, why the fuck are we doing this in Maine? Like D3, they got like hundreds of people going fucking nuts down there. Yeah. He's great because everyone else sucks.
Yeah.
Like this is so stupid. I feel like Americans should do that with Italian football. Be like, if you're just decent, not quite good enough to play like real football, like go play it over there.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's what a lot of basketball players do.
Yeah, absolutely. I forget where we were. I like power rank cities that aren't in America. Florence, Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard Copenhagen's sick.
Copenhagen's sick. And they get hammered there.
Really?
And it's wild because they just pass out on the side of the street, like in nice clothes. And like, it's so safe there. Like you'll just see like beautiful looking people put together, just like being homeless, like they're at a frat, like, passed out on a frat house lawn. And it's like, yo, dude, like that's homeless activities in the United States.
I'm looking it up right now. It reminds me of a movie, Mads Mikkelsen. Do you know him?
No.
You probably recognize him. Another Round is what it's called. It's a movie. It's set in Denmark, is why I was thinking of it. And it's in Danish, but it's very funny. It's about how, I guess it's a Danish belief that humans operate best with a buzz. And so it's Mads Mikkelsen, and I think he's a teacher, and a couple of his buddies. It's like an old Danish folklore where like, I think it's like 0.06 is like the perfect blood alcohol level. And him and his buddies basically decide to keep their system at no higher, no lower. So they're never getting fucked up, but it's like they're regularly breathing into breathalyzers trying to figure out where they are all their lives. Well, I don't want to spoil it. I'll spoil it. All their lives fall apart. But turns out being even a little bit drunk all the time is not great, but it's a very good movie.
Crazy. But yeah, I think actually I haven't been any other places because I got sent home because of the pandemic.
To Florence and Copenhagen?
Yeah, and then literally
never been to either of them.
It's crazy because everyone who was there studying abroad was like, holy shit, the world's ending, because we were seeing guys in hazmat suits.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the Contagion movie. And like, we were all just like, fuck, like we got to party. Like,
dude, I remember we were coming back from, we had a Chicklets Cup in Toronto. And this is probably February 2020. And we were coming back and we were going through the Toronto airport, which is the airport that Whit has had his little tete-a-tete with. Yeah. But we were like, they had a lot of COVID signs up and the same kind of deal. But we actually wasn't the same kind of deal because we had the opposite where we're like, these fucking Canadians don't know what they're talking about. This isn't going to be a big deal. And then a month later, the world shut down. But
body bags, that was also crazy.
Really?
Yeah, because they took all the bodies and they were like stacking them in like the town square. That like the Hagia Sophia, I don't even know, the Hagia Sophia. No, that's in Turkey. But like the Duomo, like the only like town squares in those cities are like the historical ones where all the tourists are. And
yeah.
Like, setting up tents and like there's body bags and like they don't want the bodies to be like near like exposed to like in the hospitals because like they didn't know if you could catch it from dead bodies.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just having bodies out in the town square is wild.
But like it was all the older Italian people who smoked cigarettes and like, you know, Italy had such a high lifespan. So all those people who were like 82 to 78 were getting wiped out.
Yeah.
We didn't know who was in the body bags.
Yeah. Right.
It was like, oh my God, like we're going to all die.
Yeah. They don't put a note on it. Like, don't worry, this is a really old person.
Yeah. And it's like the 5 that you're seeing are in this entire, town. Yeah. So wild times. We've yapped for a long time.
Yeah.
Good crack. It was good crack. Hey, Nate. We're getting Nate Dogg on the crack.
We're
live. We're recording.
Yeah.
I guess I need to talk into the mic.
So, Nate, has any shit gone down with Tate since we started recording?
I don't think so.
I thought it was all
Last
that.
hour or so.
No.
Okay, all that yelling. We can cut that, Nikki Quinn.
Is
Just
that what
wanted
you
to-
guys are talking about?
No, just in the beginning a little. What do you think of razor blade winged drones killing people?
Talking Obama?
Thanks.
He did it the respectful way. He dropped bombs. I said the lawnmower. He's telling me about lawnmower drones. I was like, it just seems unnecessary. Just blow it up.
What's a lawnmower?
These drones fly and just buzzsaw you and chase you down.
Oh.
Yeah, just blow me up.
Do it the old I would love to be on an episode. By the way.
Oh, you
The dog. You want to crack? The dog will crack.
want to get on the crack? We could definitely schedule that.
How long have you guys been recording for?
Like an hour or so.
An hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we definitely got to schedule that.
More people to babysit out here.
All right. Well, I think that's the crack for today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Billy, is an absolute honor and a pleasure, and I look forward to my next time.
Hopefully there will be next time. Hopefully, I have no idea. But all right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Subscribe. We got 1 million views, but we only have
That's a big
3,500
accomplishment, by the way. Congratulations. You
Thank
should
you.
be proud of that.
3,500 subscribers. I'm like going crazy thinking that someone's buying me views just to fuck with me.
See, don't get involved in the analytics. Is the show good?
Yeah.
Then it'll be fine.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Daddy used to knock them down, yeah, and I should have known not to mess around with the nightlife or the bright light.